So I've made this video a few times and I've had a few interruptions and I've also just kind of gone off track. So I'm going to speed through this in an attempt to spare your limited attention span, but also to make it easier on me. First of all, the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act actively destroyed America's tech independence and their tech dominance. Uh, it completely taxed startups out of existence, and it's the reason that so many large tech companies are literally eating themselves to death by laying off their best and most talented people in order to cut costs so they can actually pay off the taxes. I've gone over this in more detail in my other videos. Please go watch them if you haven't. This is going to be the Cliff Notes version of that. Now, on top of that, obviously, if you have extra taxes, you need to get loans to pay them because let's face it, not paying the IRS is not an option. Interest rates being high is a problem. And right now, that is the case. But here's the deal. Tax Cuts and Jobs Act will expire after 5 years unless it's extended. Now, when Trump created it, he did this with the explicit intention of using this as a negotiation tactic for his reelection. However, it has absolutely killed tech. And I am personally, because of this, a single issue voter on this. That means that I personally don't care about anything else. The one thing I vote for is the candidate that gets rid of the Tax Cuts and Job Act and Section 174. Now, I don't care about most of what was in the Tax Cuts and Job Act. Happy to keep it around as long as Section 174 is completely reverted. However, I only know one candidate that's willing to do that, and that is Harris. And as a result, I will probably be voting for her simply because I do not want this stupid Trump era policy of Section 174 to exist at all. Now, the tax interest rates are obviously going to be lowered, and the end result is that that's going to help ease things and make it easier for tech companies to ease into the 5 year vesting schedule required by the Tax Cuts and Job Act. However, I don't believe, based on the election cycle and the fact that the Tax Cuts and Job Act started in 2022 and will stop, let's just say, the end of 2006 or the start of 2027. I don't believe, because we are here right now, that really has any merit on the here and now. It's great for the future. If it happens, and if it happens, then I'll be very happy. But at the same time, I can't depend on that happening either. This completely sabotaged technology. It's the reason why, if you're a junior dev, you can't get work. It's the reason why, if you're a senior dev, you can't get work. It is a problem. And while some people may not be experiencing that because they are more introverted and therefore less technical, the fact is, I don't see the Tax Cuts and Job Act as a good thing. Go watch my other videos on why if you're still trying to understand. That said, the Tax Cuts and Job Act did do one thing that I think needs to be called out as a positive. It actually lowered the federal minimum tax rates for everybody. Okay, in most cases, well, except for the lowest bracket, if you made 100, if you're average wage earner, you're actually paying like 3% less because of it. And there was, people who are in tech were actually paying about 2 to 4% less as well. Uh, the problem is that those taxes were being taken. The difference between that was taken out of companies because now you can't write off the expenses of doing software anymore. And so, like I said, I'm a single issue voter. The Tax Cuts and Job Act, I don't care about it. It's done some good stuff, but it's also done terrible things to tech because tech was basically sacrificed for the for everything else. And I hated that because it's short sighted and it actually harms not only tech, but it harms the entire world when innovative people are not allowed to invent and innovative people are not allowed to code. I also have a problem with this because, from my perspective, as writing code is, in my mind, a constitutionally protected free speech issue, anything that makes it harder to do is seen as somebody trying to muzzle my ability to have free speech. And so I look at this and I go, okay, fine. What's going to happen during the election cycle? Well, we have all that funneling into the future, and we have their new election cycle that's going to happen on the 2028. Because at the same time, we're here doing the new election thing, but in America, presidents are only voted in for 4 years. The entire world can change in that time, and in fact, it has. So the end result is that we are here, and we need to think about the next election after this one. Everybody's thinking about the next one, but I'm thinking into the future. I'm playing 4D chess. So the end result is that we, as an American people, are here. It's 2004, and eventually we're going to get to 2025, 2026, 2027, etc. 2027 is when the Tax Cuts and Job Act stops. It expires if it's allowed to expire. Keep in mind, this is all optional. It's not something that's going to happen automatically. It will only happen if it's allowed to. And unfortunately, the GOP and the DNC are fighting over this. And neither one of them wants the other one to win. It's at the point now where it doesn't matter how much it hurts anybody else. They don't want to lose. They want to be able to save face. So the end result of that is I have to assume the worst is going to happen. And I have to plan accordingly because that's the smart thing to do. So here's what I'm planning for. I think the Tax Cuts and Job Act will stay. I think it will get extended. And I think it's going to stay for the next, forever. Interest rates being lowered in the short term is great. And I think there's going to be a lot of interest in keeping them low. But I also know that keeping them high helps so many people that are rich that it's going to happen again. And so I have to plan for the Tax Cuts and Job Act existing. And I also have to plan for higher interest rates and greater inflation. The only way to get out ahead of that is start a business. It's the only way I can get out in front of it. And to be clear, some people have made in my comments and said to do this. However, they did not have the right idea about it. You see, if you're a junior dev who doesn't know anything and you don't know technology, I would not start a business because you don't know enough about technology to know how to mitigate the risk to your business. You're going to get one hosting bill and it's going to wipe you out because you didn't architect your entire system correctly. And so, looking at this here, I've decided to leverage my technical skills and start something. I don't know what. That's the problem. I'm in my ideation phase right now. And the problem, of course, is that I need your support. I've had a few people sign up for memberships on YouTube, and what I've noticed is they drop off after a month or so. I don't know why. I added a little bit of content. I could probably add more, but ultimately, at the end of the day, I don't feel like people are interested in it enough for me to make that content, and so I haven't done so. The end result is that I believe that anything that I do will have to be through some other system that I design, a website or something. And it will have to start out with, account membership and things like that. However, I'm also fully aware that if I invest all that money and time and effort into something that doesn't work out, then it will just be kind of useless. And so I am very curious what I can build. But at the same time, I think just putting it out there that I'm more than happy to start my own thing might be enough. I will do it differently than what I've done before, though, because in the past, I've recognized that I have a weakness when it comes to the business side and marketing and sales side. I'm not extroverted enough. I can get on this microphone and I can talk about things with you guys here because ultimately, at the end of the day, I'm the only person in this entire house. Okay. And that's how I trick myself into being extroverted enough to get up in front of you every time I make a video. after I psych myself up and force myself to do it. Because let's face it, like I've said in my prior videos, I have social anxiety. And that is the only reason I'm here, because I'm forcing myself to face that. And even now, as I say that, I am fighting that. And so I hope you understand how brave I've already been. However, the fact is, I've also recognized that it doesn't really matter what happens 2025, 2026, 2027 if I can't survive until the new year. And I have done what everybody else has done in the tech industry and just kept applying. The problem is, I keep being told that I'm too old, or that I'm the wrong race, or that I'm the wrong caste, or that my physical disability and the need for me, the work I did to learn to walk again, means I'm not a good culture fit for the company. And I've been told these things directly to my face. These are not things that I'm assuming. These are not things that I am making up. These are things that have actually happened to me. In addition to the fake offer and the offer letter for a start date that when I showed up didn't actually exist, because the client never signed a statement of work with them because the business development manager dropped the ball. And then he emailed me and told me flat out, look, this is how we do things. We look for the human resource at the same time as trying to figure out things with the client. And it just didn't work out. Sorry. And so I'm looking at the world a little bit differently, because we are here, but I am actively wanting to just kind of figure this part out. And so I'm going to do this a little bit differently. I'm going to take this weekend. Here's my commitment to you. I'm going to take this weekend and think about this. That's a really powerful statement from me, because I'm publicly committing to thinking about the issue of starting a company this weekend. I don't know what I'm going to do. I have no idea where to start. But I do know that every other time I have started a company with a big idea behind it, I've had it stolen from me by my business partner. I've had my business partners literally steal the domain, thinking that if they changed the DNS, they also got all the source code because they were non-technical. I've had business partners use the fact they were my business partner to go to the bank and drain all of the accounts right before payday for all my employees, because they themselves didn't think that they were making enough, and they decided that they were just going to take the money and run. I've had so many profitable businesses that were working. They may not have made a lot of money at first, but they were iterating, they were growing, they were working, be stolen from me because of other people. And so the one commitment that I'm going to do to all of you here in this video is I'm going to do it legally by myself, in that I am not going to have business partners. I will hire the business development, sales, marketing, the BDSM stuff. I will hire contractors for that. I will hire, business, sales, marketing, whatever. I will read whatever books I have around me. I will do what I can to figure this out. But I'm going to need your help too, because I need customers. And that's fact is, I don't know what I'm doing. I just want to learn. I want to build something that's actually useful to people. But it needs to be something that can be self-sustainable and enough to be able to sustain one person, me. Because once that one person is available and fully sustained by this, not only will I be able to work on it, but I'll be able to work on other projects as well for you. I will be able to build new things. I'll be able to, maybe I'll even sell the source code. I don't know. The one thing that I have noticed is that I have absolutely stopped doing open source at all, because I got sick of the AI companies stealing my source code, adding it to their training data set, and then me getting a notification from a friend, hey, we found your code in this. How much money are you making from this company for them to train on your code? And I'm like, I'm not getting shit for it. Who is this? And I've made requests and they've said, well, you made it open source. Well, guess what? I made it open source for humans. I did not make it open source for AI. There's a very big difference there. But oh well. So I'm just going to stop contributing. And so the end result is that I have a lot of personal projects that are checked in behind private repositories. And I'm happy to fork those and make a copy and paste of them to start a new public project as needed for something. But it has to be worth it to me. It has to be something that is going to get me money. And so, from my perspective, what I would like to do is I would like to provide something so valuable that people are willing to reach for their wallets. Because that to me is the only validation I need at the moment. And so, if you have an idea that you're actually willing to pay for me to build, tell me. DM me, message me on Twitter, join my Discord and DM me. Talk to me there. Do whatever, right? I'm on Keybase. You don't have to do anything except use Keybase to do that. You can literally have an encrypted conversation with me on Keybase. My information is out there. Just check my Twitter. It's there. It's fine. It's not like you can't have these conversations with me. But I'm opening the door. I'm officially saying there's going to be a better way. I'm sick of this bullshit. If nobody else will build the giant tech company that allows junior engineers to have an actual freaking ability to learn and be a part of the industry so that the industry just doesn't die off because there's no jobs for juniors, then I will build that company. And I will dedicate a percentage of the jobs that I have available to just junior engineers who don't know what the hell they're doing so they can get that experience and we can keep the damn trade alive. Thank you.